Hello, Patriots!
Hello, Patriots, Nons, and Digital Soldiers.
This is Carrie.
And this is Joel.
And we are the Quiet Boys.
Of Truth.
All right, so there is a new Q post, as most of you probably know. This came out on the 26th. So it was a couple days ago, but definitely very relevant. So before we get into that, quick shout out to our subscribers.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Thank you so much for your support, guys. You are the reason that we're here doing this, and we love you.
Absolutely.
By the way, we have a new goal of
1917.
Oh yeah, 1,000, of course, 1,917. Woohoo!
Absolutely. So we want to get into this first Q post and then kind of talk about some of the hidden history behind the occult symbols and the symbolism of it and why symbolism, they need it and why it will be their downfall.
Exactly. So
this might get a little strange, but bear with us, Patriots.
yeah, I'm sure you guys are used to that by now.
Yeah.
So this is post 4627. This is a tweet that came out on August 20th, and it says, watching the DNC last night, I noticed their logo. Now, where have I seen that uneven star before? Hiding in plain sight. So we covered this a little bit in one of our shows a little while back, but yeah, guys, take a look at that image.
Yep.
It's startling. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Exactly.
So on the left, of course, is...
You guys have all seen it.
Yeah, you guys know what that is. But yeah, next to that is the symbol for Baphomet.
So we got a tweet from our President Donald Trump. We'll go to that in just a minute. But first we want to read what Q says here.
One party discusses God. One party discusses darkness. One party promotes God. One party eliminates God. Symbolism will be their downfall. The great deceivers. When was the last time you witnessed a Democratic Party leader being patriotic, exhibiting national pride, love of country?
When was the last time you witnessed a Democratic Party leader speak out against the riots, violence in the streets? Which was interesting because literally right after Q posted this, an ad came out with Joe Biden speaking out against the riots and stuff, saying, oh, it's not right to burn stuff down, that's violence. It literally came out right after Q posted this. Like,
really?
You know they're watching the board, and they're like, oh yeah, we haven't done that. Oh man, they're on to us.
Well, that's, yeah, interesting that he would come out and do that, considering that the mainstream media has spent hardly a second letting people know that these riots are even going on.
Exactly.
They keep talking about them as peaceful protests, and then people are wondering, why is President Trump sending troops in there and arresting these peaceful protesters, right? I mean, that's what the MSM is presenting this as. So, wow, it's interesting that he even came out and said anything at all.
Well, they only did it after this post came out.
After this post, yeah. Makes sense.
When was the last time you witnessed a Democratic Party leader support those who took an oath to protect and defend? When was the last time you witnessed a Democratic Party leader support and call for unity across our nation?
All assets deployed, information warfare, infiltration, destruction of America.
Have faith in humanity. Have faith in yourself. United we stand.
God
wins. Q. Yeah, guys, so let's head over to that tweet real quick and see what our amazing president said. And he says, 2 Democratic caucus meetings removed under God from the Pledge of Allegiance. It sounded not only strange, but terrible. That's where they're coming from.
Right, so when I first heard that, I, like many other people, thought that they made a mistake. Because why would you take out under God from our Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah, it's stupid. It does not make sense.
They are literally trying to remove God from our country.
Everything.
From everything.
Exactly. You know, and when you remove a belief system, when you remove God, you literally take any hope away from anybody to do anything ever. The only people that will have control are the people that have had control forever. It will be complete tyranny.
So what they're going for is a godless, lawless,
soulless
society that...
And they want it worldwide.
Terrible.
Could you guys imagine what would have happened if Hillary would have been elected?
Oh my gosh.
They would have achieved
Hillary,
this.
who wears an upside down cross openly. And we'll get into that a little bit here in a minute.
Yeah. But now,
This puts that Q post
into perspective.
Definitely in perspective when we see this, when they're removing under God, when they're trying to defund the police, when they're doing all of these things that go against everything that we know to be good and true.
And to make you and your families not safe. They don't
And
want you
afraid.
to feel safe. They want you to live in fear.
Yeah, they want you to be unsafe, in fear, no hope, no God, all of that.
Yep. Completely controllable. So
That's crazy. Okay, so
we're going to get into the weird side of this now, guys. It has to do a lot with where these wicked people are coming from, why they believe, well, who knows why they believe what they believe. They're literally insane, if you ask me. But yeah, buckle up. Here we go.
So as we know, the Democrats are using the symbolism for Baphomet in their logo for the Democratic National Convention that we saw last week. So here's a little bit about Baphomet. Baphomet is a deity that the Knights Templar were accused of worshipping and that subsequently was incorporated into occult and mystical traditions. The name Baphomet appeared in trial transcripts for the Inquisition of the Knights Templar starting in 1307. It first came into popular English usage in the 19th century during debate and speculation on the reasons for the suppression of the Templars.
Since 1856, the name Baphomet has been associated with the Sabbatic goat image drawn by Eliphas Levi, which contains binary elements representing the symbolization of the equilibrium of opposites. Example given, half human and half animal, male and female, good and evil, on and off, etc. On one hand, Levi's intention was to symbolize his concept of balance that was essential to his magnetistic notion of the astral light. On the other hand, the Baphomet represents a tradition that should result in a perfect social order. I don't know about that. You guys, you see that little symbol down there on the right. You know, that's the one that was pointed out. Remember, look at that. Look at the names on there: Samael and Lilith.
Right. So one thing that we notice right away when we look at that image of Baphomet is the Y.
Before we go any further, I want you to look at all the symbolism in that depiction of the Sabbatic goat. You have the pentacle star, you have the Y head, you have the androgynous goat man, you have the caduceus from the medical field sitting in its lap. Yeah, there's a lot of symbolism there, guys, and look how much of that symbolism is put to use in our modern day society. So how many people, knowingly or unknowingly, are following this?
Exactly. I mean, if you just go to Google or any search engine that you're using and you type in Baphomet and go to images, you're going to see a million images of Baphomet coming up. There are statues of Baphomet in certain American cities. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
All right, so what did you want to go look at, Carrie?
Well, I found a really good thread. It goes into a lot of detail about all this stuff. This is a lot of information.
Yes.
We're just going to talk about this aspect of it. So let's check that out. Okay, so this comes from Centipede Nation. Their motto is "Resistance to tyranny is a virtue." So whoever put this together, it was probably a group of people. They clearly follow the cue boards. They follow what's going on, and they have linked all of this information. So we will leave this for you guys in the description. There's a lot here, guys. It's fascinating information. We're just going to go all the way down to where it starts talking about the Y family and Baphomet.
And here we are, the letter Y, the family, and the cult. In General Michael Flynn's tweet from 2016, there are a couple of random instances of the letter Y giving the impression that it might have been a typo. But was it? Could there be a purpose to the random Y being inserted into his tweet? He also added a Y inside the hashtag #NeverYHillary. Because of that, we assume it's not a coincidence. Why? Who and or what is Y? Q has used the letter Y in multiple posts as a standalone letter, whether by itself or within a kill box like so.
In some of Q's posts, the letter Y was used to reference the Rothschilds dynasty. In QAnon post number 185, there is an image that shows Baron Guy de Rothschild wearing a hat outfitted with feathers, and a woman who has been identified as Marie-Helene de Rothschild at the famous Rothschild's Surrealist Ball of 1972, wearing a stag's deer head. This is basically Q saying that they are the Y head. Now, of course, this gets much deeper once you start exploring the significance of the letter Y and the cult that runs the world. We'll try to keep it simple here, as the amount of research we've gathered is enough to write a novel. They're not kidding, guys.
Yeah.
So this talks all about Comey and how he put out that tweet that had the Y in the kill box that says you can't promote principled anti-corruption action without pissing off corrupt people.
Yeah.
And that was a quote, right?
Yeah, and
From
look,
George P. Kent.
Look, the very next day, Q hits back. The harvest, a crop, has been prepared and soon will be delivered to the public for consumption.
Yep.
A higher loyalty. Y in the kill box. Hunters become the hunted. Treason, sedition. How do you remove a liability? 6 o'clock can be dangerous. Family proud.
Right, so it was interesting that Comey titled his book A Higher Loyalty, Truth, Lies, and Leadership. So here the implication is that that was actually a reference to his loyalty to the Y family, right? Not to the U.S. It's hard to know exactly what's going on here, but the question that they ask is he trying to protect himself and show solidarity to his masters? Did he make the family proud, or did he fail? Has he become a liability? Why did Q tell Comey to watch his 6?
Yeah, watch your back. 6 o'clock can be dangerous.
6 o'clock can be dangerous. There are so many layers with the corn and the harvesting. We don't have time in this episode, I don't think, to go into all of that, but we'll keep reading a little bit more about Family Y. So this is where it gets into spirit cooking. You guys have probably heard all about Marina Abramovich and all of the disgusting things that she does at her house. She invited John Podesta to come to dinner for a spirit cooking session. If you don't know what spirit cooking is, it's absolutely disgusting. It's presented to the world as performance art, but we know that it's ritualistic symbolism.
We could probably do a whole episode on that.
We definitely could. Let's just scroll down and show them the pictures real quick. Yeah, so we've all seen this, probably John Podesta with the 14 and the fish. It says, ask yourself this: what are the Podestas doing spirit cooking at someone's home for dinner? This is disgusting, guys. Just throwing semi-coagulated blood on a sculpture of a child while at the same time writing with that same blood on the walls about mixing sperm with breast milk. Ugh, I don't even want to read this. That's what spirit cooking is. Okay, so then below that, we go to Q Post 100.
Satan, who follows? What political leaders worship Satan? What does an upside-down cross represent? Who wears openly?
Hillary.
Why? Who is she connected to? Why is this relevant? Spirit cooking. What does spirit cooking represent? Cult. What is a cult? Who is worshipped?
Rothschilds, cult leaders, banks, financial institutions, worldwide government controls people. So this all comes back to the Rothschilds, right? The Y
some
family.
of it does. I believe that there's a lot more that we haven't seen. There's some very wealthy people in this world who control a lot of it, who we don't even know the names of, because they have so much money they can pay to be almost non-existent.
Exactly. But when it asks who wears that upside down cross, we know that's Hillary, and she wears it openly. She's connected to Marina Abramovich.
Oh yeah, they're like buddies.
She's also connected to Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, and this was something that came out, this was a while back. You guys you might remember this, you might not. She wrote an email to Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, and it said, I was trying to reach you to tell you and Teddy that I asked Tony Blair to go to Israel as part of our full court press on keeping the Middle East negotiations going. He told me that he had a commitment in Aspen with you two and the conference, but after we talked, he decided to go and asked me to tell you. He is very sorry, obviously, but I'm grateful that he accepted my request. I hope you all understand and give him a rain check. Blah, blah, blah. He should land around 5 a.m. Aspen time. This is the part where it gets interesting, guys. Let me know what penance I owe you. What does penance mean, Joel?
So penance is a voluntary self-punishment inflicted upon yourself for having done something wrong.
Exactly. Now, why would she use that particular word? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, weird.
All of this stuff is interconnected. It all connects. It comes back to the Rothschilds. Why Baphomet? We're just presenting a very, very brief outline of this. It goes so much deeper. We just wanted to show you the significance of the Democratic Party having that Baphomet symbolism.
You know,
in
yeah,
the logo.
and we need to understand also, guys, that it's not just the Democratic Party. There are some Republicans that are tied up in this too. Some of them are rearing their heads right now.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we did that last episode. Are the sleepers waking? Are they activating?
Right. No,
Are
it's
they-
just that the Democratic Party has been
The most
infiltrated.
Yes.
Whoa.
Exactly.
They absolutely have been completely taken over by this agenda, guys. But yeah, there's definitely Republicans involved. Definitely people that we wouldn't expect to be involved.
Yep.
Such as, what were you telling me today, Joel?
Well, I'll just show you.
All right.
So this was a tweet sent out by Major Patriot on Twitter, and he sends a link to, I believe it's the christianpost.com. Basically, this is the gist of it, guys. This is irresponsible. Along with our corrupt government, the institution I'm most eager to see cleaned up is the corrupt evangelical church. Evangelical leaders denounce QAnon as a political cult, satanic movement. Now let's get a little more sauce on this.
Very interesting that they.
This
would
is a whole
come out and say
thread.
that.
Major Patriot says, I was raised Southern Baptist. It's tantamount to spiritual MK Ultra.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had experience
Yes.
in that church.
The theory has garnered criticism from multiple Christian leaders, including Southern Baptist Theological Seminary President Albert Mohler Jr., when preachers lie. On an episode of his podcast, The Briefing, posted online on Monday, Mohler compared QAnon and conspiracy theories in general to the early church heresy of Gnosticism. Major Patriot says, I despise legalism. These are the same kind of religious zealots that crucified a radical thinker 2,000 years ago. Guys, who do you think I'm talking about here? Jesus. Of course.
Obviously.
Author and pastor Joe Carter denounced QAnon, labeled QAnon a political cult and satanic movement. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and head to the article real quick, and we can just run over it real fast.
Okay, so here is the article from Christian Post. It's titled Evangelical Leaders Denounce QAnon as Political Cult, Satanic Movement. We're going to just scroll down to where it starts talking about Gnosticism. So this is what Joel just read on an episode of his podcast, The Briefing, posted online on Monday. Mohler compared QAnon and conspiracy theories in general to the early church heresy of Gnosticism. Gnosticism is the belief that only a few, an elite, a privileged few, are able to see, have inside information, explained Mohler. The ancient Gnostics believed in one way or another that this particular secret knowledge was the key to salvation or illumination, or whatever would be the promise of this particular information.
Christianity has nothing to do with the secret truth. It has everything to do with the public gospel, the theologian added. Christians don't have secret beliefs we hide from the world. We're not saved because we have come to some secret knowledge.
Okay, so here is where they're comparing Christianity to the QAnon movement, right? So the word that stuck out to both Joel and I when we read this was they're talking about Christians not having secret beliefs. And that is different than certain information that QAnon might have that's not being released.
Yeah, guys, and check it out. Military is running the Q operation. It's military intelligence. That's not the same as a spiritual belief.
No, that's not a secret belief. That's information that must be kept secret.
Why would these guys want Q to just be
Release
completely transparent?
all information.
Because you know what happens then? It all falls apart.
It all falls apart, exactly. So this whole thing is ridiculous.
But if you guys, and I want you to pay attention here, the people that are writing this, the people that are speaking out against QAnon right now, especially in the evangelical community, a lot of them are pretty dang wealthy. A lot of them have been in it for a while. Now I want you to pay attention to what Q said about this. Those who scream the loudest.
Yes, absolutely.
Do they have something to hide?
Exactly, and it's the people you trust the most.
Exactly, Q said that too. People you trust the most. Those you trust the most.
This is an unfortunate message to have to
very unfortunate, but at the same time,
to a lot of people
if it is for the betterment of humanity, and if it is to ultimately learn the truth,
absolutely,
then we are for it.
What this whole thing is about is truth.
If you think for a minute that the deep state has not infiltrated the church, really go look at it and look how much politics has infiltrated religion. Why? Because it's for control, guys. They want control over everything you think, everything you do. I'm not saying the gospel's wrong. What I'm saying is that the people, a lot of the people who are high up in the churches, they are paid to be there by some of these very bad people to keep you in a false slumber and to keep you in control.
Keep the truth from coming to light.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, you're right. As far as like having some secret belief in spirituality, no, it needs to be all out in the open. But QAnon is not a religious cult. It's nothing like that. It's an information dissemination program done by military intelligence, and it's never once
about
been
how
about
much knowledge we have gained and how much information we have gained access to, how much we've been looking into and researching and finding out. That's been the major takeaway from QAnon for most people, is that the things that they've been keeping secret, that the bad guys have been keeping secret this whole time, are finally coming out into the open. They're finally being brought to light because of QAnon.
It's an attack on all fronts, because what QAnon has done for a majority of people is reinstate their spirit of patriotism, their belief in God, a sense of pride in where you live and where you're from. They're trying to attack it on all fronts, but they won't win because they're trying to attack it at one front at a time. They don't understand this is about humanity. This is about us learning the truth, and this is about us tearing down the walls of deception that have kept us in a false reality.
Right. And just remember, religion is not God.
That's right. God is God. And this is just me, but I've always viewed religion as a structured political house, and faith is what actually gets you through, not religion. That's not to say that every preacher out there is bad, guys. There's a lot of really good ones. I come from an evangelical background myself. That's why this one made me take a second look. I went, whoa. I was raised. My grandfather was a Bible Belt preacher, hellfire and brimstone preacher. That was my grandfather. He preached in the Bible Belt. He was an evangelical preacher.
So this kind of hits close to home, right?
Yes,
Joel?
but that's why I'm able to pick out what is falsehoods here.
Right.
You know, so have faith in God, guys. Do not fear. We stand united, and we are going to win. There's no other option. We are going to win.
Yep. Wow, Joel, we just talked for a long time about this, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. But like I'm saying, guys, what we're saying here is just our own viewpoints and opinions. Discern for yourself.
Absolutely.
We're not telling you what to believe at all. Please don't take it that way, and please do your own research.
Right.
Look into this stuff, but use a discerning eye to see what's going on here.
Not only discerning, but what resonates with you.
Yes.
You have to really feel it.
Yep. You have to feel it in your soul.
True? What do you feel?
Yeah.
So, okay, we've gone on for long enough. Thank you guys so much for your loyal support and being here and listening to us.
But yeah, we're gonna close this one out. But before we do, we have started a Teespring account. As many of you probably already know, you can go there and check out some of these really cool designs. We've got the Gold Q collection up there at the moment.
Right, and we actually created that one on recommendation from one of our loyal subscribers who really wanted to get a Gold Q hoodie. So we'd like to know what you would like to see in our store. So if you have a particular design in mind,
or an item,
to see some item or some type of design, please let us know in the comments.
Absolutely.
And we will work on getting that in our store also.
Yes, we will.
Before I forget, use the promo code Quiet Voice to get 10% off until August 31st.
Yes, please do that.
That is coming up in about 4 days now, guys.
We had an awesome Patriot forget to use that code.
Yes, we did.
But we do appreciate the support. You guys, if you're new here, if you are enjoying our content, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and toggle that little notification bell so you're notified when we put out new videos. Patriots, Nons, and Digital Soldiers, please do not forget, where we go one,
we go all. Love you, Patriots.
Good night, Patriots.
Good night, guys.